Too late.
That's so.
This my second visit here at the Nepean-Kanata Club, and I have really fond memory of the first time I was in the club. I'm also happy to see that we have our youth exchange student from Croatia here with us tonight, so it's a pleasure. The President told me I have 45 minutes for my speech, so I thought it was a little too long, so I cut it to 44. And my problem was it was written in French, so I didn't have time to translate it, so I have a complete thing. I have to change what I wanted to say. But to be serious a little, the first thing I've decided when I was nominated as governor, and I was planning what I would do was to, when I'll be visiting my club, to take a few minutes to acknowledge the work of those unsung heroes every club has. Every club had a couple of members that work like ants, that they're so efficient, nobody realizes what they're doing. And also because they're so efficient, nobody thinks to say thanks to. And I'm talking here about the secretaries and the treasurer. What I had in mind was mainly the secretary, because I used to be, when I was in District 7850, I used to be the district secretary for 3 years. So I had to deal with all the secretaries. At the time, they were Club Rotary wasn't existing, and you know, so everything was still done in paper. And I did realize how hard those people are working, and they're still working hard here, even now if you can go with a computer. So what I did when I was in Sao Paulo for the International Convention, I met with a company that is making pins. You know that Rotary like pins. So I talked with them, and sorry, I did have my coffee the wrong way, so. And I asked them to create for me a special pin for my district secretary, which they did, and they submitted me something. And in the end, we have a little thing like that. And as you see, it's gold, because when they submitted that to me, it was white, like that. And I said, no, I want it gold, because in my mind, the secretary of my district, the club secretary of my district, they're like Olympic gold medalists. They're the top and the best. So I needed to be gold. So you have a great secretary, and I have the luck to know her personally because I'm involved with her in the youth exchange. It's Sue Collar. And I'm so happy to be able to give that to you tonight. So if you want to come here, please. Which I do not. Okay. Usually when I do that, I'm clumsy. You like it as well. So,
thank you, Claude.
So we have to look this guy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you know, every year, take one meeting and take the time to say thanks to your secretary and to your treasurer, because without those, the club can run. You know, president come and go, but those stay long. Since how long your secretary?
8, 9 years now, and I've been 5 years previously.
So that shows, I'm telling you, they're important people because they're the only one that knows everything, and when they need something, he calls Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I don't have a speech, as I said earlier, what I like to do with the club I visit, because I consider my role as governor to be at the full services of my Rotarian and my club. Do you understand my French English? If you don't, just raise your hand and I'll say it in French.
Donc, franglais, c'est super good.
So, as you can see, I take Rotary very seriously, but not myself. So I'd like to have your question, any kind of question about Rotary. I'm open. I'd like to inform you of what you may need to know. So you can ask about IRA, about the district, about your area governor, which is an important person, about myself. Yeah, I'm not here only for a free lunch, you know. I'm here, I have other things to do. So let's go. Who will be the first? Don't be shy.
I have I don't know if it's a difficult question, but something I've been wondering about for quite some time. I was involved in the Montreal 2010 convention post-organizing committee, which actually had a surplus when they finished running the show, and ended up giving the money to Rotary International through the district. And we were told, I was told that by doing that, that the district would then get the money back in, was it 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
So that would have been around 3 years. So did that money come back?
Yes, okay, I'll tell you what I know. What you're telling is right. But I'm not sure they did wait 3 years. I think the surplus went all to the district. It went to IRA, then was sent back to district.
Okay.
So, and it did help a lot for project and everything. But the district, in the end, was the beneficiary of the surplus that coming to me. By the way, the reason I'm your governor is because of the Montreal Convention, because I was in 7850, and nobody from your district came down to Sherbrooke to say, hey, we need help, we'd like to participate. Most of my clientele I was doing at the time, I was doing musical programming. So if you go to a food store or a clothing store and you have music and get an headache, it's my fault. By the way, I must plead guilty, because very recently I was in Iqaluit, Nunavut. We have a club there, and on Saturday they have a large blizzard. I think I did bring that with me.
Oh.
I'm sorry. So what happened, because I work all my life in music, but always behind the scene. And I wanted to see what was happening when we had a big conference like that. So I did transfer from Sherbrooke to Longueuil, South Shore, and I was able to work at the convention and see it. It was a real good experience, but a few days after, 3 weeks after I had moved, it was the district assembly. So as I like things at the district, I went there to see what's happening in this district. My plan was to be here for a year. And then I met with Bill Gray that I knew, and Bill talked to me a little, then grabbed me, bring me to Cathy Bird, said, you're searching for an AG, a French AG, you have one there. What's an AG? You'll do well. So I was the AG, the same role as I did for 4 years, and along the way, my club proposed me as a governor. I didn't want to be governor, to be honest. And Bill Gray again called me and said, you should be. I said, no. So finally, he did convince me, and here I am. So, because of the international conference, and I must say he was right, because I'm having really, really great fun doing the job of governor. It's a lot of meetings, but that's okay. What I like the most to do, I like to travel. It's not a problem for me to travel, but I like to meet with people. So, you know, we have so many clubs, so there's a lot of people to meet, and it's always nice to go and meet new people and see a new club, because that's a fun thing about Rotary. Every club is unique. Every club has its own personality. I don't know if many of you had the chance to go and visit other clubs, not only in Ottawa, but outside. You'll notice that if the spirit and the goal of Rotary are the same everywhere, but every club has its own identity, has its own way of functioning, And most of the time, most of the rule also are theirs. So, you know, you were talking a little earlier about the meeting place, the meal and everything. Sorry. But Rotary had changed his mind recently about that. I remember when I joined, you know, you had to have a meeting, the meal, and you know, you have to be there every meeting, blah, 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 once a week. This is no longer valid because they realized this, it was an obligation, but the idea of services, the idea of being available for the community or humanitarian project was suffering because people were too much concerned or focusing on being at the meeting. So now there's so many different kind of clubs. They have club meeting one every 2 weeks. They have club meeting once a month. But the 3 other week they have committee meeting. The larger club mainly. So and they're doing a Rotary every week. So there's so many ways you could do your Rotary. That's something that you could sit and talk and don't stay inside one pattern. Think out of the box and think that what makes you club to feel good, do good, and get your goals done. So feel free, don't hesitate to go there. That's something that, my first club I had founded was in 2007 in Sherbrooke. We were meeting on Monday from 4:30 to 5:30, no meal. We were meeting in the museum, beautiful place. The idea was that at 6 o'clock, Sherbrooke is small, at 6 o'clock everybody was back home with the family and the kid. We had a lot of young people there. So, you know, there's a new breed of people who must get to admiring the club, young professional. So we must think a little different to be able to, not only to reach them, but for them to come and adopt Rotary. Because the old way, they're not, you know, those young professionals, Eddie is one, those young professionals are not all crazy, spending an hour and a half or 2 hours in a meal, whatever they talk. That's not their way. They're people who like action. So they're ready to give you an hour and a half or 2 hours a week, but they want results in the end. So this, you must think about that if you want to get new members. We need members who are 50, 60, 70, because those have experience, know the past, so it's to get a balance. Not talking too much. Any other question? Yes?
What made you join Rotary?
The fun thing is a good friend of mine in 1999 asked me to join up. In fact, it took him a year and a half to induct me into the club, and I went there, I believe, 4 times. I always walk alone in my life. I was a loner. I wasn't used to be with a gang. I was never. And he was a close friend, and he had the feeling I needed people around me to experience things out. And he also thought Rotary will bring me things. So, and also he was the editor of the newspaper. I used to be a journalist. So he knew that if I joined, he would no longer be editing the newsletter, and he was so happy when I said yes. But he was right, because he saw in me what I was needing, that sometimes you don't know yourself. And I joined Rotary, and it takes a little time to get in and to sink in, but the result was in 2005, I closed my company, retired myself, and gave all my time since Rotary. So, you know, she was asking a great question in the sense that we are all wondering how to get new members. If we take the time This is what I'm telling you. It's food for thought. Take what is fitting you. I'm telling you do that, but just take what is fitting you and try to apply what's fitting. I had a few experiences in the last year that all went well, and I'll give you an example. Look around to your friend, your co-worker, your partner, your relative, and look for who you think would be a good Rotarian. You know what it is to be a good Rotarian, you are. So when you have spotted this person, or you know, don't go and try to sell this person a Rotary. It's a bad idea. It's a thing Rotary was doing, try to sell Rotary to other people. That's a real bad idea, personally. So go sit with this person, and because you know the person, say, well, I know you, and I know that you like to be involved in the community, you like to be involved in the project and everything. You know, I'm part of Rotary, and I have a good gang of people behind me, and I could take all that and make it available for you. One of your or something you'd like to do. What would you like to do? What would you do? Would you like us to help with? Offer them your help. Offer them who we are. Because what are we doing the best if it's not help or serve service of ourselves? And that's what we're forgetting to mention. Offer who we are the best to those people. And nobody can say no. What will happen? Well, they will realize that a lot of people wanted to work with them. They will join naturally. You won't have to sell them or to force. They will come naturally. I did a little experiment in Saint-Jérôme. There were 27 people, and in about 7 months, they fell to 12. People died, and the people left. And you want me to speak slower so you have the time to write? And so they were very anxious, and so I tell them, well, you know people, we tried. So I said, well, do something. I want you to find me 15 people between 20, 25, and 40. People, you know, are the leaders in the community. Not necessarily the big leader, but they have many kind of leaders. And gave me the name, the email, and the phone number. It took them about a month to get there. So when I got that, I sent an email, which was an invitation to a 5 to 7 to discuss about the community. Rotary wasn't even mentioned on the letter. So the following week, I called everyone to invite them. And so of the 15, 11 said, okay, I'll be there. So at the date, 9 show up, which I think is normal. So what I did, we were only 4 Rotarians there. There were the president, I was there. There was someone taking notes, like she does. And there was someone else that if there's a need, the person could take care of them. So to those nine persons, I've asked the same question. What is the problem what's the biggest problem in our community? So being French Canadian, they're really great to complain, so they all have something to complain about. First. Then when everybody had explained and it was no, second question to them, I said, do you have an idea? How would you like this problem to be taken care of? We have a solution. So of course, our French, we like to complain, but most of the time we have answer. The wrong one, but we have answer. So my role and the role of the president with me was to identify the strongest leader among the people there. So in the end, we took a 5-minute break and I talked with the president. And then I come back and I said, well, Fred, you were talking about, is anyone speak French here? Mm-hmm. No? It's Nuance.
Nuance?
Nuance?
Nuance? No.
No, itinerant, the people that, the,
Oh, itinerant.
yeah, the homeless people.
Oh, homeless,
Yeah,
okay.
itinerant, yeah.
So, and it was a big problem. So you're talking about the homeless people, and this is a big problem here and everything. Well, if I can provide you with a bunch of people that will wish to address this problem and work with you, would you take the lead? So, you know, this guy have talked about for 10 minutes about the problem and 15 minutes about how to solve them. Is offer possibility to help. He can't say no. So he said yes. But the end result is 7 of those 9 people became Rotarian in the next 2 weeks. Because I managed for somebody else that also talked about the problem to help the person. You know? But what's more important, it gave the club a new assessment of the community. That's something they haven't done in a few years. But what we must remember from that, it went well because we took the time to listen. And Rotary people often forget it. Take the time to listen to people, and you will get your member. Because the new crowd we're searching for, the new breed of business people, people like Eddie, like you, I forgot your name, but you, okay. They work differently, but all of those are aware about servicing humanity because many of them, when they were in school, went to a church in South America or in Africa for 2 weeks. So that's thing for them which is normal. Us older people never had experienced that. We didn't have youth exchange when I was young. I would have, I would have like that. So we must know, and those people, because they went to other place and see the misery and everything, they want to help. But they want to help with who they are and the way they used to. So that's why what we're doing is fantastic. We have a great group, but we must adapt some of the way we're working to be able to work with them. But we must listen to them. So that's what I will leave you. Another question?
Just wondering how is the membership going for the district as a whole the last 2 or 3 years?
For the last 3 years, the membership almost stayed the same. The main problem in the district is people dying. We are getting a lot of new members. But what we've noticed too is that members come in, and many of those, most of those, after 1, 2 years, sometimes 3 years, they leave. Because they didn't find what they were searching for, or mainly because we didn't use them as they should. The new entrepreneur are people that like to do things, that like to go ahead. Sometimes they will miss their thing, but they like to work out. So it's you open the door. That's okay.
Sorry, I thought anyone wanted more coffee.
They must be awakened from me, you know.
It's okay.
And,
It's decaf.
So that's the biggest problem in the district is that it's most of the new we're getting, we can't retain them. But we're about close to 1900, and it's still out there. Thank you. Another question? I have up to where now the one?
10 o'clock.
Just,
I feel good.
You have any other question?
just a comment. I hear what you're saying, and I agree that bringing people in, you really want to engage them in the club, and one of the best ways to do that is to have them engage before they get here. But the other side of it is we have in our club had experience with people joining with ideas that didn't get fulfilled. So people came in and thought, yeah, we'll join Rotary, and then through Rotary we'll be able to do this, this, and this. And then they came into the club and it just didn't go anywhere. So there's two ends to it. There's one is approaching people and welcoming their ideas. But the other side is you've got to be ready to put your money where your mouth is. And I think that's a real challenge in the club too.
People come and they think, well, there'll just be all these people that'll do my idea for me.
Yes, there's that idea too, that we did have experience with that. But we also had experience with people coming years ago who had really interesting project ideas that just never went anywhere. And I think at the time, our club was so active and we had so many great projects on the go, there just wasn't any room in the budget or the agenda. But there just never seemed to be any change in that. So the club had at the time its projects that it was supporting, and it had its budget, and it had its fundraisers to raise money for these projects. And because we were doing that, we attracted people who were like, this is a great club. Look at all this great stuff they're doing. I want to join this club and become part of that. But it didn't happen. And what ended up is they became disgruntled and ended up leaving. So before we go out and reach out to people saying, what are your ideas? Come bring us your ideas and we'll get together. We would need to sit down as a club and say, do we need new projects? Let's put our money where our mouth is and have sort of like an action plan.
That would be my answer, in the sense that if someone joined the club and had his own idea, you give him the leadership of that. So you want to do that? Okay, I'm ready to back you up, but you'll be the leader. So you have to go to do things and we'll follow and help. So if they don't do it, the problem is not you.
It's a little bit more challenging than that, I can see. There's the renegade. If we just put bad names on people. There's the renegade who's going to come in and go, I have an idea, we're going to do this, and da-da-da-da-da. And they tend to be people who go off, want to do things on their own, don't really need participation, they need money. You've got that personality. You've also got the mouse who'll come in who has a really good idea that isn't too pushy.
But
you know, so
that's what makes a club good. We had different kind of people. The point is, first, the club must be enough open to when there's new idea, new thing, they could accept that. There's a question of money too. But at the same time, when there's good ideas that came in, the club should be open enough to say, oh wait, let's try it. You know, we're not able to do every project, but let's try it. It's when we try things that we learn and we open doors. So that's what you're doing, your assessment is right, but when there's new people, what I know by experience, because I'm also the membership chair of the district, what I know by experience, you must make those people work. According to what they want to do, according to what they have talent to do. So don't take an accountant and make him do the treasury thing. Ask him what else he'd like to do. So,
can I make a comment on that? I think that person that came into the club to do the project, perhaps before they brought into the club, perhaps in the interview, when you interviewed them, make it clear to them that you come here to us and you work with us. You cannot just tell us what you want, and if you don't like what we do, you gotta give us hell. This is, you can't come in for your own reasons, for your own purposes into Rotary in general.
I'd say I agree with you, but doesn't happen more than once.
Yeah, it happens, it does.
But the whole thing is, we are a service club. We are not a bank of.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, you need elbow grease. But the biggest thing in that one, just playing off your side, is they come in with a why. If you make the why big enough, the how's going to present itself and how to be able to do it.
the other point too is what those new people, that's the thing I forgot to mention. If you take a little time to pre-qualify them, this will allow you on their problem.
screen them first.
Yes.
It's the, when I was with my club in England, they kept talking about visioning to help clubs out. I guess it's some come out of Australia and they use it in Australia. Is the district doing that? I haven't heard anything about it in the district.
I love you. I was part of the committee in 7850 that was doing visioning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way. This district is not doing it. I'll be doing it for a club in Ottawa. Do you remember which one? Yes, you were there. Ottawa Baton. I wasn't there. No. Not the Baton. The one, who knew, I remember you were there. The one that need in the old person house at 5.
Canada Sunrise.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're having a membership problem, and
So one club is doing it.
they don't know where to go. Actually, they really don't know what to go. So I'm trying to implement visioning in the district because it's a great way for a club that sometimes lose the control or really don't know where they're going to refocus in what's the matter. But I haven't seen many clubs in the district.
It was interesting because I know that we were trying to get at the secretary of our club in London.
Yes.
Was the visioning, the London district visioning champion.
Yeah.
And she wanted the club to go through it, but she didn't want to be the one to lead them through it because if you guys think you have age issues with memberships, the average age in this club in London was about 75.
Yes.
The president, the fellow that's the president now, he's president for about the 8th time, he's 86. And you keep, I did the visioning thing with them to try to get them to say, where do you want to go and how do you want to change?
But do you have experience in visioning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not with Rotary, but I've done it with a lot of groups.
I will take your card, your name. I may ask you to help me with the, because I'll be alone.
Yeah,
Normally it's a group of 4 or 5 people, you know. But when it's a small club, you could do it alone just to help them focus if it's done well. I did that. I did twice in this district with 2 clubs visioning. I did it in Laval, North Shore, and I did it in Norway also.
We do it for Nexus. We created a really great plan and then it just kind of stopped there. And we said, okay, so who's going to do it now?
But when a club is focused, when a club know where they go and what to do, it's help them a lot. Thank you very much. Okay. Is there any other question? You know, I must tell you something. In all the club I've been this week, you're probably the club that has the more diverse kind of question, and it's interesting because you know that only proves it's not the size of the club that makes a good club. So yes.
In your travels through the year, what have you been hearing about youth exchange? Is anybody else interested in?
We're trying to work out to make it more known because youth exchange is expensive, and some of the clubs don't really spend the money or don't have the money. But mainly, it takes people in the club that are dedicated, that are ready to work to find the school. You know, there's a lot of things there.
Yeah.
So, but we're getting there.
There are some wealthy clubs with big membership that are still not involved, and I find it curious that they don't find a champion from within. Are we not, as a district, sending out a good enough message? Or are we sending a message at all? I don't know what your message is to them.
I must say that this year, traveling, I didn't speak a lot about youth exchange because, as you see my speech, I don't want to give a speech. But next year, I'm involved with youth exchange, I know, and next year I'm working right now with Joe to build something, and I was able to get some funds for that. So I think we'll have between 5 to 7 new clubs next year for the following year.
New clubs outing.